everybody, this is your boy Hidden Mist Gaming, aka Mist, welcoming you to my first episode of Storm 4 School, a series of mine which is dedicated to helping old and new players alike getting better at Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. These first few episodes are going to be more so dedicated to the new players to Storm 4, the more inexperienced players of Storm 4. So older players, these first episodes are not going to be catered towards you. Just thought I'd let you know that. So if you do decide to watch it, you know what you're getting yourself into. But now that that has been addressed, right now on the screen you should be able to see the lesson plan for today, the things I'm going to be going over, and it is going to be staying true to what I said earlier about how these first few episodes will be catered towards people who are just starting off at the game or are fairly new to the game. So yeah, that's why you see quick ways to improve, what you can do as a beginner, what you can play to do to get used to the game, the differences between a player and ranked match, and the characters to use for beginners, user main, to help them adjust into the game, learn basic controls, stuff like that. But since I don't want to waste any more of your time, let's go ahead and jump into the first lesson here. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over to get you better at the game, this one's going to be for PC users. If you are playing on the PC version of Storm 4, do not use your keyboard to play on this. Go down to Walmart, Best Buy, or go to Amazon.com and get yourself an Xbox One controller or PS4 controller. The reason I say that is because using a keyboard on this game is absolutely horrible. The way the keyboard's laid out makes it very confusing for how fast you have to press the buttons and different buttons you have to press all at once. Just a small compact controller makes button pressing easier, and it can make you it makes pressing the buttons a lot faster, which does matter when you're playing against other people. So I would highly suggest using a controller over keyboard. Now, as for the controller themselves, I would definitely recommend an Xbox One controller over a PS4 controller, and that's just not my Xbox superiority talking. The way Storm 4 works when it comes to recognizing controllers is that yes, a PS4 controller will work when you're playing the game. However, your block will not work. Your right trigger will not work no matter what you do. So essentially you have to jump through a bunch of hoops by downloading some bullshit, emulating software which turns your PS4 controller into an Xbox controller, and it's pretty complicated to explain just right off the top of my head. But if you are a PS4 user or PS4 controller user who just swears by only using PS4 controllers, I will leave a link to a video in the description. That's a tutorial on how to make the PS4 controller work. So for the next lesson, after you got your controllers all purchased, set up, you're ready to rock and roll, you're ready to go, you're going to want to head into the story part of Naruto. And pretty much once you load in, you're pretty much going to be at the very beginning, which is where I'm at right now. I have obviously played through all of it and beaten all of it with the best rank you can get, because I'm a no-life and I'm slightly good at the game, so that got me that. The reason why I suggest the story mode as a good starting point for new players is because you're practicing how to pretty much the fundamentals of the game and getting yourself introduced into the game. The story mode's good for that because it keeps you entertained with telling the story and key moments in Naruto throughout the history of Naruto. Some of the key moments you'll go through and battles you go through, not to spoil too much, is when Kakashi and Obito, when they were kids and Rin got kidnapped by the Rock Ninja, they had to go save her. You'll play through that battle. When Sasuke and Itachi had to fight Kabuto to undo the reincarnation jutsu. Battles like that, so it keeps you entertained while telling the story, going over the key events and stuff like that, and it'll keep you interested with the different boss fights you'll be going through, and all that fun stuff. Okay, jumping into the next lesson here, you're going to want to locate yourself to the main menu, then go down to where it says Free Battle, and select that. And from there, it's going to bring you to a list here where it says Survival, Tournament, Versus Battle, League, Practice, Customized Character, and Presets. You're going to want to focus on Versus Battle here and Practice. So Versus Battle, you can select this. That'll give you different match types, what type of match you want to go with, and then how many rounds you want in. So match type, you can do yourself versus the computer, you versus a friend, or the computer versus another computer. For match select, you can do team match, which is your character that you select along with one or two supports, or you can select a single match here, which is just your main character, no supports on either side. And then you can select how many rounds you want, which is just a best 2 out of 3. Whoever wins 2 matches wins it. And then, or you can select one, which is if you win the first round, you win. And then once you get that, hit OK, and then you go into here, and then you're selecting your character here. If you do press start, you can select if you want to have, unlimited time or set amount of time. And then for handicap, this is for how much damage you do to the computer and how much damage the computer does to you. So if you slide it in the direction of the computer, you're going to do more damage to the computer, and the computer is going to do less damage to you. If you slide it towards yourself, the computer is going to do more damage to you, and you're going to do less damage to the computer. Leave that in the middle. And then as for difficulty, you probably want to start on super easy, easy, or average. As to where it's hard and super hard is going to be pretty hard for anybody just starting off at the game, so I really wouldn't recommend that. And then once you're done, you hit settings complete. Then you're going to select your team and then the computer's team, and then you're going to fight against the computer for however many times you want. So to touch on the other thing I was talking about, which is practice, aka practice battles, these are battles in which you have a lot more freedom when it comes to specific things in the battle itself. So in this, the computer will not move, it will not fight back unless you specifically set it to. So for any free practice battles, you just want to set to free practice, and then team match or single match, whatever you want to do, doesn't really matter. And then here, again, same as versus, you just select what character you want to use, and then what character you want the computer to be, and then you just set your stage. Now, what I mean by more freedom is that you can go to the practice menu, and obviously you want to leave the opponent control off because we do not want that computer moving around. So this is the stuff you have more control over to pretty much make it practice a lot easier. So you can set a life gauge, you can set that to unlimited, so every time the computer or you takes damage, your health will regenerate pretty fast to full. Chakra gauge, this is just for normal. Normal chakra will run down with your normal ninjutsu, ultimate jutsu usage, chakra dashing, all that stuff. Unlimited, surprise, you have unlimited chakra. Substitution gauge, it's self-explanatory, ninja tools. And then when it comes to costume damage, that's just pieces of your character's clothing that gets pretty much beaten off as you take more and more damage. Now for the opponent settings, so this is for the computer, you generally want to leave it off, and then when it comes to the guard, you want to leave that off too, unless you're practicing like combo cancels or unlimited combos, stuff like that. Again, all this stuff is just pretty explanatory. Most of the time you just want to leave it off, because you really won't need it to use this stuff or practice against it, because most of the time you're just going to be practicing against that in a player or ranked match. Okay, so moving on to the second last lesson that I want to teach you guys is the difference between ranked and player matches. So in the main menu, head down to where it says online battle and select that bad boy, and then select online battle again, and then you're going to see ranked and player match here. Ignore everything else beneath that. So I want to make this very clear. If you are new to Naruto, you stay away from ranked matches. They are very bad for you. They are not good for your health. You stay away from them. You will find nothing but pain and suffering in there. Everybody goes try hard because everybody's trying to be the best. Everybody cares about their record, and they will not lose to you just because you're a new player. You will not learn much here. Nobody's practicing in ranked. Stay away from it until you get better. Now what you really want to do is a bingo bongo hit player match. Now, the difference between ranked and player match is, well, obviously, as I said, ranked is where everybody tryhards, because that's where all the good people are, people who know what they're doing play, because they want to be ranked to be the best at Naruto. What a player match is, it's kind of like it's just like an unranked match. So people come here, and this is what they new players mostly use to practice, or just people in general use to practice. Not a whole lot of people go super try hard, but this is where they come to better themselves against other people. I would highly recommend this. You want to play this, go to player match, do player matches. When it comes to player match, typically how you want to go to set it up is you select it. I usually don't do quick searches, just not my cup of tea. I usually do create sessions, and when you create a session, you typically don't have to name the room anything. When it comes to battle types, leave it on team match because that's mostly what you're going to be running into in ranked, and that's what we want to practice for. Round, again, you want 3 rounds just like in ranked. Region, I would usually suggest doing only setting it to same, because if you play against people from other regions, usually the latency is pretty bad, causing a lot of lag and most of the time disconnect, so I typically avoid them. Private room, leave that off unless you're playing with a friend, then turn it on. Ever-changing rules, elemental effects, leave those off. You're not going to need them. They're not important for now for getting better. So once you're ready to go, you just hit create a session, and essentially you just wait for people to join. And whoever joins, you just hit battle OK, and you're all ready to go. See how easy that is? Okay, so quickly jumping into the character list here, I just want to say before I start, it's important to know that if you have characters that you like that you want to use, by all means go and use them. Use them instead of this list. These characters that I'm going to recommend aren't going to give you like some sort of advantage over other people. They aren't going to give you some random boost in skill out of nowhere. By all means, if you have another character that you want to go to, use them instead. This is just recommendations of mine for people who are new to the game and want to familiarize themselves with it. These are like the easiest characters in my opinion to do so. But like I said, if you have a character that you want to use, by all means, go for it. Okay, so jumping into the list now, the first guy I'm going to recommend to you guys is none other than Bushy Brows himself, aka Rock Lee, the Shippuden version. The reason as to why I like to recommend Rock Lee is because he's just a pretty straightforward character. He isn't the fastest, but his combos are very simple. With his leg kicks and everything like that, the hitbox for them are pretty good as well. Aside from that, I mean, everything about him is just straightforward, and like you don't really need to go outside the box or really do anything that's going to be too complicated with him. Okay, so moving on to the second character on the list, Mr. I want to get impaled by a spike to save Hinata and Naruto. The main man, Mr. Byakugan himself, Neji. The reason why I like to recommend Neji to new players is because when it comes to close quarters combat, he's very good with his finger jab combos. They're long, they're drawn out, but they're also pretty fast as well. So it's good for keeping opponents in check and kind of shutting them down from being able to move around because of how long the combos are. Also, what's really nice about him is that his ninjutsu, the 8 trigrams palm rotation, he can use both on the ground and in midair. So if you need to pull it out real quick in midair, he does it like rapidly, which is very good and also good for support as well. Okay, moving on to the second to last character on this list, Mr. Emo himself, aka Sasuke, specifically the last version of him. What's nice about this character is that all of his combos have the almighty pull, so when he uses that in the combo, it's very good if people sub before that and then they're behind you, and then and then he uses the almighty push or pull, because when he uses that, it'll make him stumble, and then it's just an easy chakra dash right back to him. So they waste a sub and you get a free hit on him. What's also really nice is that his ninjutsu, the giant infernal fireball, is like, honestly, it's the biggest fireball in the game. You cannot convince me otherwise. So that's also really good for hitting opponents who think they can dodge it. Okay, so for the final character on this list, we are going to go with the god of shinobi himself, Mr. Madara Slayer Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, specifically his Sage Mode version. The reason why I like this character a lot for new players is because the hitbox on his combos is absolutely ginormous. If someone dodges at like the wrong angle, you're gonna hit them pretty much no matter what. And because it's so giant, like it's hard to tell when to sub, when not to sub, and his stuff is really good for combo cancels as well. And not only that, but his ninjutsu is a bunch of giant shuriken which tracks the opponent throughout the map, and he summons a lot of them, so it's really hard to dodge, and it creates an opening for you to chakra dash at them and to get a free combo in to force them to block, and then obviously go in, hit them, break their guard, and then continue your combo. But yeah, he's really good as a character. I don't highly recommend him for anybody starting off. I just wanted to take a quick minute here at the end to just say thank you. Thank you to everybody who has made it this far with me in the video. I know it's my first video. It was very sloppily put together. Transition everything's were okay. I'm not that good at editing. Hopefully I'll improve as time goes by. But sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I did want to thank you all. It really does mean a lot to me that you did make it this far. You at least found what I had to say, at least interesting. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. But either way, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to get that across and say thank you. Thank you very much. Um, but until next time, this has been Hidden Miss Gaming, signing off. I hope you all have a great day. Bye bye!